Today, we are in my shop, my lab, my garage, whatever you want to call it. And sitting right back over here, right there, we have a semi-hermetic compressor, a K-body compressor. Now, I never get to work on these. I never service them. Unfortunately, I'd like to. I'd like to do that a lot more. But I happened to come across this K-body compressor while I was on another job. I noticed that they had a couple condensing units that were just abandoned on this roof. Talked to the manager, asked if I could steal one of these compressors for this very purpose because I want to tear it apart and see what's inside. And they said yeah, so I took it, cleaned it up, and here we are. Now behind me on that whiteboard, you'll see a little bit of information on the compressor. It's a R404, uses POE oil, run load amps, about 4.6 I think it was, 3000 BTU at negative 25 degree evaporator temperature, 105 degree condensing temperature. And then the book over there you see, that is modern refrigeration technology. I was just kind of poking through that a little bit about the semi-hermetic compressor section. So yeah, let's dig into this. Austin from Lima, Ohio, if you're watching, you're gonna like this one. We're going to tear this thing apart and see what it's made of, all right? Stay tuned. Before we get started, let's just take a quick look around at this thing here. There is our model and serial number information. I cleaned it all up. It was pretty dirty when I got it, but it looks in pretty good shape. It was sealed up, so there was no moisture present. It wasn't just sitting out in the elements, so I think the inside will be pretty pristine. It'll be a good teardown. And there's just a quick view of the book we're looking at. Just basic components: cylinder, piston, crankshaft. Again, guys, I'm not an expert on these, but I tell you what, I'm going to tear it apart anyway and see if I can't learn something from it, all right? Because I'm just a curious guy at heart. So let's get to work. All right, so first thing, we are going to pull this wire off. This looks like it was to our, I'm going to say, our high pressure switch. Yeah, it must be our high pressure switch. It's rated at 375 PSI, so this is just broken off. I'm just going to disconnect that. I'm going to start by just taking apart some of this electrical stuff. Looks like we got an original wiring diagram in there. Let me get some of this stuff cleared out of here, guys, and I'll show you what I'm looking at. Just a bunch of cut wires from probably when it was abandoned. Looks like they just kind of cut stuff right off of this thing. So, all right, guys, let me show you what I'm looking at here in this electrical section. There's our wiring diagram. Right here you'll have our line 1, 2, and 3. This is our thermal overload protector. And these right here are the terminals going into our windings of the compressor. We still got the original paperwork, it looks like, too. That's pretty cool. So I don't really need to do anything with this section, although I might. Actually, it looks like it does come apart, so I think we might just tear that apart as well. All right, let me set you down here. I don't really know if I want to tear that entire electrical section apart yet. Let's start with the big stuff. Let's start with the fun stuff. First thing I want to do is get this old broken switch out of the way. This pressure switch. Get that off there. I don't really have a reason to pull off these valves. Suction line on this side, discharge on this side. See, now I might be wrong on this, but I was always told if the suction line on a semi-hermetic compressor, if the suction line is closer to the actual motor of the compressor, which I believe would be right over here, then it is a suction cooled compressor. Since this one is not closer, I believe it's an air-cooled compressor. All right, real quick, I just kind of removed part of this electrical housing just to get a better view of it. Now it looks like I can just take these to get this electrical block out of the way. Let's do that. Let's get those right out of there. I lied, I am going to take this electrical portion apart to see what's underneath of it. And then we'll get to the big stuff. It's the reason we tear things apart, right? Just to see what's inside. Where's the fun if you don't tear everything apart, right? All right. There's our thermal protector right there. Set that over here. Don't really need that. Let's pull these off here, see what's underneath here. Interesting. Well, that's pretty cool. Look at that. You can just pull this right out of there. So it looks like this is like a serviceable part anyway. You could take this off and replace it. Of course, you'd have to pump it down, obviously, but that's pretty cool. Interesting. Well, I didn't know you could do that with semi-hermetic compressors, so let's keep going. We'll start at the back side here, I think. I think I will pull these valves off, just for the heck of it. Nothing too crazy, just a normal looking return, or excuse me, high side discharge valve. Doesn't look to be damaged. I don't see any oil buildup in there, any carbonized oil. Gasket looks pretty good. Yeah, nothing too crazy on this. So I'm just going to put it back on there. If I don't, I'll probably end up putting it on the wrong side. And our suction side, nice and clean. Gasket looks good. Inside of the valve body looks good. No carbonized oil in there. And again, guys, I don't know if this system had any issues. It looks like it was just abandoned because they installed some new equipment. There was a new condensing unit sitting next to this one, so probably ran fine up until the day they shut it off. All right, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull apart the back side of this. Spin this around and give you a little bit better view here, guys. All right, we're going to pull this apart because I have no idea what's behind there. A little bit of oil. A little bit of oil. This little thing right here, no idea what that is. I didn't see that in any of my books. It's odd because it, this bearing, or part of this bearing, whatever this is, only spins around one way and then it hits a stop of some sort. So, I have no idea what that is, but let's put that back and then we'll tear the rest of it apart. Let's get this electrical stuff out of the way. Put that right there. Now, I didn't drain the oil out of this just because there might be a bunch of oil that comes spewing out of this at some point in time. Let's see. Let's see if it's full of oil here. That's not really letting me pull this all the way out. So we're probably still attached to our pistons. All right, let's pull this top off. Maybe I didn't take all these bolts out. These two center bolts, I kind of thought they may hold the reed in there or something. So let's see if that does a difference. There we go. Interesting. There's the head of our compressor right there. Again, looks pretty clean. These reeds right here, it looks like they do come off. I don't believe that's part of the problem. It looks like they sit right on top of this valve body like so. This is a dirty job. Need to get Mike Rowe over here. Yeah, so it looks like they sit just like so. Take this one off. I'm only putting them back over here so I don't lose any parts. See, that's our little reed right there. And so basically when the piston moves up and down, this will just flex up and down with the piston as it's basically sucking and pushing the refrigerant gas through the compressor, of course, as it's sucking and pushing refrigerant gas. Trying to see if there's a way to get this valve plate off of the head. It looks like there is, but it's probably, no, not stuck on there very well. Nice. And these are kind of cool. You can take everything apart on these. So, right here, we got this part fall out. I don't really know what that goes to, but that's all right. And so this is the back part of our backing plate. As far as I remember, these are, I don't remember the technical term for them, but it's a backing plate that'll keep the reed from opening up too far, from springing open too far. I'm sure there's some sort of engineering technical name for them, but I guess I refer to them as a backing plate. But and again, looks pretty clean. I mean, this is a nice and clean looking system here. All right, let's put that back like so. Give you a little bit better view here, guys. This is what we're looking at. This is the top of our compressor. And see right here, these are our reed valves. Real simple, these pistons. Once I get this part of the compressor open, I'll see if I can't just spin these pistons around and give you a better view of how they work. But as these pistons go up and down, these reeds will go up and down, of course, and they will open and suck and push gas through this this valve plate, this valve head. You look right down in here, looks like we have a strainer of some sort. I don't know if it's going to pick it up on camera. All right. Let me spin this other side around, and we're going to take apart the back side of this. Put one of these bolts back in so it doesn't just fall apart on me. Oop, my bad. Alright, let's take this thing apart. Nope, wrong side. That's metric. That's different. see what's back here on door number 3. Ooh. Alright guys, there's our motor. Looks sort of like a wind turbine. I wonder, that'd be super cool if I did. I don't have a socket big enough for that. That's alright. Alright guys, let me show you what I was talking about a few minutes ago. They come right over here to our pistons. As I turn the motor, you can see how they're pumping up and down. And of course, as one goes down, it sucks. As the other one goes up, it pushes, and the reeds will move accordingly. Yeah, the part that's confusing so far is, I guess, where's all the oil? I kind of expected this thing to be full of oil, but it's not. And I don't honestly remember if the condensing unit had an oil separator or an oil reservoir. If it did, I guess that's where all the oil would be. But, yeah, it's kind of bizarre. And I don't have a big enough socket to get this shaft apart. I believe if I take this apart, I can separate the crankshaft from the motor, but I'm not 100% sure, and I don't have a socket big enough to take that off. So our demonstration may end right here. All right, well, let me put that back on. Can't do much more on that side. Actually, I'll leave that off. Before I wrap up, I'll give you guys a little bit better view all around this machine here. All right, here's a little bit better view. See, right here, that's our motor. This is our rotor, our stator. There's a little bit of oil in the bottom of that. Not as much as I expected though. Here's our electrical section. This is where our line 1, 2, and 3 would hook up to again. These are the terminals going into our compressor. And if we look right, I believe it's right up there, you'll see right up in this corner, I might not be picking it up on camera, but right up in this corner, you'll see the wiring that goes up to our terminals. And then right here, this is it would be the top side of our valve head. So how this would sit on our compressor, this would sit, I believe, this way. Oops. Let me get this right here, guys. Yes, so it would sit this way, like so. See if we can see anything happening. Now you can hear the pistons. You can kind of see the reed on the left-hand side there. You can kind of see it bouncing around a little bit. So now imagine that like a million times faster. And again, for those of you who haven't seen one of these in action, that's basically what you're looking at. Yeah, pretty simple stuff. Not too crazy. It operates exactly like a hermatic compressor. It's just bigger, and as far as I've read, the valves, the gaskets, everything, it's serviceable. Actually, the inside, you can replace the valves, I think. Gaskets, of course, you can replace those. You can replace these valves, pistons. That's what I meant by valves. You can replace the pistons. You can replace these valves as well. I would imagine, I don't exactly know how to get this apart yet, but I would imagine you can service this crankshaft and the bearing that goes with it. But I believe we have to get this giant bolt out of there, and I don't have a socket big enough for that right now. But I believe you take that off, and then you can pull this cover off, and that'll show you the bearing that's inside that holds the crankshaft in place. All right, guys, that does it for today. Hope you enjoyed the video. If any of you guys out there are more familiar with these, shoot me some comments. Let me know. Give me some names of some components. See something I missed, something I named wrong. Feel free. Let me know. I might learn something from you, and that would be awesome. But hope you enjoy, guys. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one, all right?